Hi, and welcome to the Victorian Photo Studio. A land count of 20 with 110 backdrops and 80 animations. A look around the studio to give you an idea of what it looks like. Click the button to reveal the control panel to operate the studio for the pose movements and other features. On the round circle we can click on the arrows to move that avatar in many directions, as I will demonstrate by clicking on each one. Use the pose scroll arrow buttons to change your avatar's pose. We can select next or previous poses. If you wish, there are buttons for automatic pose scrolling, and it will change the poses automatically, either next or previous depending which way you select to scroll. Use the stop button to halt the automatic scrolling. We can also use automatic rotation of the avatar in either direction depending what you choose. The three buttons here, when clicked, determine how quick the avatar moves about on the studio. Fine for small movement, then medium, and then hard for more quicker movements. We have some feature buttons here to produce steam and smoke. You can move your avatar's position when this feature is used for the better effect photo. You can click on the feature button to start, and click on the feature button again to stop. We have other features like a flame. You can click once to start and again to stop. If you wish the studio to be bigger or smaller, then we have a clever option to resize the studio. Use the drop menu to click on the axis which way you want to change its size appearance. You can also reset the studio quickly with the reset buttons. You can move the avatar's eye position by selecting the options from the drop menu when you select eyes. There are some props in the studio you can res from the drop menu when you select res. These will appear on the studio for a photo feature. You may add in your own props by resing from the menu, New Prop. Make sure you link your prop to the new prim that appears on the studio floor at the front. Take to inventory and rename and drag it back into the studio's contents. You can res a camera which a photographer can sit on and use. By clicking on your movement controls, the camera will take over the viewing position and move in the direction you choose with movement menu. More than one avatar can pose on this studio, so you can make it a couple or group. Each avatar selects pose and they will take a default position on the studio. They will only change when you move them and change the pose. You can create your own pose pictures together using any animation inside the studio. Simply use next and previous buttons to toggle between each avatar to move them independently. We also have a control panel to the side. Here we can look through the backdrops with the scroll buttons and select what we want to texture. We also can res a cloth throw that we can texture using the rug type backdrops inside the studio. We can change over to the backdrop or floor or even both if we wish, using these other buttons to select where we want to place the textures. Look through and click on one that you would like to use. Or we can use one texture across the floor and backdrop together. There are 6 emitters to choose if you wish to add something else into the photo. Simply click once to start and again to stop them, or use the stop button. We can also adjust the size of the emitters by clicking on the size bar to make them larger or smaller. We can also do the same to the burst rate to make them more or less as demonstrated. Just to note, you can add your own textures to the studio, but they must be full perm. Edit the studio and then go to the Content tab and drag and drop them into here. You can also do the same with pose animations, but these can be of any permission. You can use the RGB to texture the backdrop, floor or cloth, and the shade bar to the side to select its brightness. These are quick buttons to websites if you need them. These boxes on the side are for extra texture or pose storage for specific ones you might like to keep in your own collection. You would click on these to activate them if you have added contents. To add content, edit the studio. Then look for the Edit Link tab to tick this. Then click on the box that you wish to add your full perm texture to or you pose animation. Make sure you select the correct box. You can click once to activate them and then click them again to deactivate them and go back to the studio's main contents it's using. The box will have a red ring around it to show you that it will be active what the contents are inside it. The red ring will be removed if you click on it again. This also applies to the pose animations box also. If you feel you have finished using the studio, you can click this button to put the controls away. And then click it again if you wish to take them back out to use them again. The studio has a light option that you click to get a drop menu. Here you can change the color light on the studio and the avatar. There are colors you can choose from. There are settings for intensity, radius, drop off, and by playing around with these you can change how much the light effects are on the studio. This is all trial and error to your liking by select the values in the drop menu for each one. As you can see, I am just clicking and changing the color hues and seeing what effects it does. Use the snapshot button to take your photo and save it to your inventory or computer desktop, for example.